As Ika grappled with the startling revelation of being referred to as a pet, she felt a swirl of emotions coursing through her. Confusion mingled with disbelief, while a hint of curiosity lingered beneath the surface. Could there be more to this than met the eye? Could the golem, despite its previous stoic appearance, harbor a deeper understanding of their relationship? Lost in her thoughts, Ika glanced around the chamber, her eyes lingering on the merged orb that now lay before her. It pulsed with a faint, otherworldly glow, casting eerie shadows across the cavern walls. With a hesitant step forward, she reached out to touch the gem, her fingertips brushing against its smooth surface. To her surprise, a surge of warmth flooded through her, enveloping her in a cocoon of energy. It was as if the gem itself was alive, resonating with a power she had never felt before. As the sensation washed over her, a sense of peace settled within her, dispelling her earlier unease. With newfound resolve, Ika turned her attention back to the golem, her mind racing with questions. What did it mean to be chosen as its companion, and what role did the merged gem play in their newfound connection? As Ika's mind raced with questions, a sudden and commanding voice echoed through the chamber, sending a chill down her spine. It seemed to emanate from within the merged orb and permeate the very air around her, commanding attention with its horrifying presence. Before she could react, her body went limp, falling lifeless to the floor. In an instant, Ika found herself in a new and unfamiliar realm, surrounded by endless darkness and thick, swirling fog that obscured her vision. It was as if she had been transported to another dimension, a place where reality itself seemed to bend and warp. Before her, a throne materialized out of the darkness, and upon it sat a figure shrouded in shadows. At first glance, he appeared to be human, but there was an otherworldly aura about him that marked him as something far more sinister, a vampire. As the figure spoke, his voice carried with it a sense of power and authority that sent shivers down Ika's spine. He commanded her to bow, and though she resisted with all her might, her body obeyed against her will, bending to his every whim. With a sinking feeling in her heart, Ika realized that she was in the presence of the master of this domain, a being of unimaginable power. Though she didn't yet know his history, it was clear from his commanding presence and the aura of authority that surrounded him that he was no ordinary creature. There was a regal air about him, as if he had once ruled over a mighty kingdom, his very presence hinting at a past filled with power and prestige. As Ika knelt before the vampire lord, she felt a mixture of fear and fascination wash over her. His voice echoed through the darkness, commanding her attention as he began to speak. "I am Vladis, once the ruler of a mighty kingdom that spanned these lands," he intoned, his voice resonating with the weight of centuries. "But my reign was brought to an end by those who sought to usurp my power, to cast me down from my throne and banish me from the realm of the living." Ika listened in rapt attention as Vladis recounted the tale of his downfall, how he had been forced to flee into the shadows, his once proud kingdom reduced to ruins by the passage of time. "For centuries, I have dwelled in the darkness, biding my time, waiting for the opportunity to reclaim what is rightfully mine," Vladis continued, his eyes gleaming with a hunger that sent a chill down Ika's spine. "And now, you have awoken me from my slumber, my dear Ika. Do you not see? It seems fate has chosen you to be the instrument of my vengeance." Ika's heart raced as she listened to Vladis's words, her mind reeling at the implications of what he was saying. Could it be that she had unwittingly unleashed a force of darkness upon the world, a being hell-bent on revenge against those who had wronged him? But even as fear threatened to consume her, Ika felt a glimmer of defiance stir within her. She may have been chosen as Vladis's pawn, but she refused to be his puppet. With every fiber of her being, she vowed to resist his influence, to fight against the darkness that threatened to engulf her. Without notice, memories flooded her mind. Ika's thoughts turned to the moment when an unseen force had taken hold of her body in battle, guiding her movements with an otherworldly power. She remembered the sensation of blood swirling around her, coalescing into sharp, spear-like constructs that she unleashed upon her enemies with deadly precision. She remembered her first battle so suddenly, seeing it all as if her first battle in this dungeon was happening again in front of her. As memories flooded her mind, Ika's senses were overwhelmed by a vivid recollection of her first battle within the depths of the dungeon. The scene played out before her, unfolding with startling clarity as if she were reliving it in real time. She could feel the adrenaline coursing through her veins, her heart pounding with the same fierce intensity as it had on that fateful day. The air was thick with tension, every sense heightened as she faced down the grotesque creatures that lurked in the shadows. With a surge of otherworldly power, she felt herself being propelled into action, her body moving with a fluid grace that defied explanation. The sensation of blood swirling around her was all too real, a visceral reminder of the primal force that had guided her movements with uncanny precision. In her mind's eye, she watched as the crimson energy coalesced into sharp, spear-like constructs, each one a deadly extension of her will. With a flick of her wrist, she unleashed the torrent of blood upon her enemies, the crimson spears hurtling through the air with deadly accuracy. As the battle raged on, Aika fought with a ferocity born of desperation, her every movement fueled by a primal instinct to survive. Each strike was a testament to her newfound power, a reminder of the untapped potential that lay dormant within her. But even as she vanquished her foes with ruthless efficiency, a nagging sense of unease lingered in the back of her mind. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, that unseen eyes were watching her every move from the shadows. With a jolt, Aika snapped back to the present, the memories fading into the darkness as quickly as they had come. But the experience had left her shaken, a lingering sense of dread clinging to her like a suffocating shroud. "As you can see, my dear Aika," Vladis's voice echoed through the darkness, his tone both chilling and persuasive, "I have been with you from the very beginning. It was I who guided your hand in battle, granting you the strength to overcome your enemies and survive against all odds. Without me, you would have perished long ago." Aika's heart pounded in her chest as she listened to Vladis's words, his presence looming over her like a suffocating shadow. She knew that he spoke the truth, that without his intervention, she would have fallen in battle countless times before. "But fear not, my little creature," Vladis continued, his voice taking on a soothing tone that sent shivers down Aika's spine. "I have no desire to harm you. On the contrary, I wish to make you stronger, to give you the power to forge your own destiny. I know the pain you've endured, the loneliness you've felt. You were abandoned by your world, left to fend for yourself in the darkness. But here, with me, you have the chance to become something more, something greater than you ever thought possible." As Vladis spoke, images flashed before Aika's mind's eye, memories that she had long tried to bury beneath layers of pain and sorrow. She saw herself as a young girl, dirty and ragged, huddled in the corner of a damp sewer tunnel, tears streaming down her face as she clutched at her empty stomach. She saw the faces of the children who had tormented her, their mocking laughter ringing in her ears as they pelted her with rocks and sticks, their words like knives that cut deep into her soul. She saw herself wandering the dark and labyrinthine passages of the sewers, her only companions the rats and insects that scurried in the shadows. She saw herself curling up in a corner to sleep, the cold stone floor her only bed, the stench of decay and filth her only comfort. And through it all, she felt the crushing weight of loneliness pressing down on her like a suffocating blanket, the knowledge that she was unwanted and unloved, a burden to be cast aside by a world that had no use for her. Tears welled in Aika's eyes as the memories washed over her, each one a painful reminder of the cruelty and indifference of humanity. And yet, amidst the darkness, she also felt a spark of hope, a glimmer of light that whispered of a better future, a chance to rise above her past and become something more. With a heavy heart, Aika bowed her head in reluctant acceptance, knowing that her fate was now irrevocably bound to that of the dark and enigmatic being who called himself her master.